Hi, I'm Rich from Old Guard Designs, and today we're going to go over how to assemble the Watchtower Inn. Uh, Here it is all assembled. I've started to prime it, started blocking in the colors. I'm going to show you how to put it together if you happen to take it all apart. Most people recommend as you print it out floor by floor, assemble it that way. But as you're painting it, you may take apart certain pieces. And this is just a guide to putting everything together, even if everything is completely taken apart. So here we have the inn completely taken apart. There's about 35 major pieces to put together. We're going to go over it floor by floor. That's the easiest way to assemble it. And I've already put in all of these open lock clips here in the various pieces. You're going to need about 85 of those for the whole project. So we'll get started. Well, the basic idea behind the Watchtower Inn is that there was originally a watchtower, and then after a period of time it was abandoned, and then it became a place where travelers would stay, and eventually someone moved in and built an inn up around it. So we're going to focus on the tower itself as kind of the key place to start in putting together the inn. So you start with the ground, the first floor of the inn, the ground floor, and it has these little stairs here, and it has this large door here. That'll be the piece we start with. And the easiest way to think of the inn is to think of the tower and then the two pieces behind it that make up the central core of the inn. And then there's a wing on each side, and the way I orient it is if I hold the door facing me and consider that to be south, on my right over here or your left, this is the east wing and this is the west wing. It doesn't really matter what you call it, but that's just the way to have a constant reference here in the video. So we start with the tower. Then the next piece, the central piece, in the deluxe finish I have this compass rose in the floor here. And you'll notice that there's no wall here because that connects to this wall. So you just click those together. And then this little arched door here connects to the kitchen, which is this piece here. It's got its own fireplace, and it's got stairs going down into the root cellar. And that just snaps together like that. So the west wing is the main bar and tavern area, and here I've already done the deluxe finish. You can see there's the bar and everything, and this is two pieces, and these pieces have a fireplace, and the fire worked it so that the fireplace overlaps slightly and hides one of the seams. So when you snap these together, you don't see a seam there in the wall. And then this snaps on to the west side of the building. And I recommend putting the side wings together and then snapping them to the central piece. It's a lot easier that way. And the east wing is just another, say another dining room or an extra room. That's available for the inn. And again, there's a smaller fireplace on this side, and again I've worked it so that the seam is hidden behind the bricks here. Tried to do that as much as possible. That clicks together, and then that snaps right into this main piece here. And there's the first floor of the inn, all put together and done. And you'll see that once it's together, the floors are quite stable, so you can pick them up, move them around, and use them quite easily during a gaming session. So for the second piece, you'll notice this door doesn't have a top to it. That's because it's a false Gothic door. I mean, there's a real door down below, but this top part doesn't open. And so look for the piece that has just the one arch on top. and that piece will go right on like that. And I've got a lot of these little pegs here to help line things up, so that when you put it together, things will line up right and not move too much. For the central piece, above that central corridor, we have an open space that runs the whole length of the tower. This runs kind of, normally you'd see these run around the stairs. The stairs are in the tower itself, but this serves the same purpose. But it also gives you some extra fun things to do with gaming. Someone could be tossed over the edge and fall down through the tower, or if someone wanted to get from the top floor to the bottom floor quickly, they could jump through and either have a way to slow their fall or take the damage from hitting the ground, depending on how tough they are. And this piece just snaps in. Turn it the right way. It's also got the two big arches here. It snaps in like that. And then the area above the kitchen, I make the assumption that this is it's a small room. It doesn't have full height ceilings, so maybe a couple of the kitchen staff live up here, and that just clicks on the back here like that. So there's our central core of the tower, the second floor. Above the main tavern, we've added, we call it the musician's loft, and this would be a place, it's got an opening in the floor, and this would be a place where musicians would play up here and people down below could hear the music. But it also gives us a second level that we can use also to add another dimension to playing. If there's a brawl going on down in the bar, characters from can shoot up and down from this level. People can be tossed down or jump down, just as an extra dimension when you're playing. And this piece is the west wing, and it snaps in like that. And then over the east wing, we have a space for a couple of rental rooms, and being closer to the floor is probably a lot more convenient for people. And these rooms also have a fireplace, and we've done it so that each room has a small fireplace. So these are some of the few rooms that have their own fireplace, which characters might appreciate in the winter. And these two pieces snap together like that. And then this piece just clicks into place on this side here. And you can see how each room has its own door. There's a small corridor and a fireplace for each. So those would probably be the rooms that rent for the most. And again, it's quite sturdy when it's put together, and that whole floor just sits on top of this floor, like so. For the third floor, we have these false Gothic style windows here, and those also span 2 floors, and that will sit up on top like this. So this gives us our start of our third floor. Again, the piece with the opening down through the center, and we envision that probably there's a series of chandeliers that hang down that provide light for this corridor. You can use whatever lighting you like. And this piece, see, we have on this side there's 3 clips. One side has 3 slots, the other side has 4 slots. So just line up the side with 3 slots, snap them together. And then this piece above the kitchen has the rest of the roof above the kitchen. And little space with a little room up here, and that snaps together like that. That gives us our central piece there. On the west wing, we have a couple of rooms that are available for rent. You know, depending on how you want to use the inn. Maybe there's people living there, or maybe it's rooms that the players can rent. And it's just two pieces again with a fireplace, and those snap together like that. And then this piece snaps in here, and initially it can be a little challenging lining up all the clips, but they're very well lined up, and they go together. They line up pretty easily. Like that. And then for the east wing, this is what we are calling the place where the innkeeper and his family stay. It's another room that doesn't have a full height ceiling. You've got the dormers here. So you've got these two pieces here. And again, we have the chimney that helps hide the seam. Those snap together like that. And then this slots in right here. And there's our completed third floor. So for the fourth floor, again, we start with the tower. Here we have the top of these fake windows, false windows, I should say. And we have our centerpiece again with our opening. They'll snap together. And then on the back here, all we have on this floor is this little balcony piece here. And we'll see how this works in a minute. Attach the next piece. Just by itself, it's a little unstable, but once we add the rooms over here, it'll be fine. If you remember looking at the completed tower on the front, we have this balcony, and this piece here, they click together. You want to be careful not to press too hard on these railings because they're a little bit fragile. Not overly fragile, but you don't want to put a lot of pressure on them. And then this goes together. And that helps secure this balcony piece here. And then on this side, we put this on. This is the area over the innkeeper's residence. Could be a loft for where children sleep or for storage or something. And the easiest thing to do with this, rather than attach it here, you just set it on by itself on the top. The top floor of the tower, it's a little bit taller, and what we've done is we've cut these off, the coins and these decorative features, and this will allow our top piece to slide on and have something to rest there. You can also tell it's a top piece because it's got these two holes, and those holes are where the sign for the inn goes. It just slides in like that, and you will want to glue it in probably. It doesn't stay super tight, so I don't think if you don't glue it in, it'll fall easily, but you can do that after you finish painting everything. It'll make it a lot easier. So here we have the top of the tower, and this floor has the rest of these roofs. And if you look at the structure of the roof at the top, you notice it's basically crossed gables. And the easiest way to assemble this, this piece here with this opening lines up with the door from the tower. And it's best to put this together first, like so, and then snap this piece in. One of the things I've tried to do when designing where to put the open lock clips is to try to have, if there's two pieces, have them join on another piece. That adds strength to the whole unit when it's assembled, but it does mean that you'll want to sometimes assemble things in a certain order. So we put this in here, and it also helps that you know that the rose window faces the front. And then this last piece of gable end wall clicks in here. And because there's no wall, this one's a little wobbly, but it still stays pretty well, and it certainly is very solid once you put it all on top. And now we've left some open space where the characters can play. I'll get a couple of minis, and you can see, kind of get an idea of the scale. So here we've got a few miniatures, and they can go right in there. And I've left the roofs off. You can put them on or take them off as you need. On this end, this roof has this hook at the top, and it's got a notch. Got to let it fit in the spire, like that. This piece, next piece, has a couple of notches on the bottom, and it slots into these pins up here to help align it and keep it in place. And then the last piece is this piece of roof here, and again it's got notches for the spires, and it fits on. It's also got a couple of pegs here to help align it and keep it in place, and that fits on like that. And all that leaves us with is the top of the tower. Get some of these guys out of here. And the top of the tower will only fit on one way. When you first print it out, it's a little tight, but once you get it on and off a couple of times, it goes on and off easily. This is actually made of printed as two pieces. The bottom piece has these corbels, and the top piece has the battlements, and I just glue those together. The reason it's two pieces is because you can't 3D print this without supports otherwise. And when aligning it, one of these guardrails around this trap door will be towards the front, and that just slides on like that. And you get your wizard up there, raining fireballs down at anyone who wants to attack the inn or give you any problems. You'll notice that once it's assembled, the inn is easy to move around. It's very sturdy assembled. As you're playing, you can take off the different floors as you need. And then before I mentioned how the floors are pretty sturdy by themselves. Say we're going to have our guys down here in some kind of a barroom brawl. Our wizard decides he's going to, from up above, going to come in and cast a sleep spell on him. There you go. You can see how that can work. And of course, the sleep spell was effective on that guy. He fell right over. And you can take off at any level that you want. either just be working on the top level, or if you're playing and you're going to be running from level to level, you can just set each level down. And as the characters come up from one set of stairs, he'd come up, and then next move would be here, and run up here, and so on. If you put the levels together, if you're not sure where they'll pop out, you put him on this stair here and put the level back on top of him. You can see right where he would come out, so that you can actually have characters fighting on the stairs from one floor to another. So there's the end. Thank you.